Yeah.
Madam Mayor, while we're waiting, I just want to let you know that I'll be attending the CML District 3 session in Golden on September 7th. I think that is a Wednesday.
Sounds good.
Hey, Rich, I actually also signed up to attend that. So I'll see you there.
Great. It's always good to have company.
Joanna, are we ready?
Yes, ready whenever you are.
Excellent. I will now call to order the regular City Council meeting of August 22nd, 2022. Members of the council are participating in this meeting remotely pursuant to the council's electronic participation policy. Public access to the meeting is available on the Local Government Access Channel 8 for Comcast and Xfinity subscribers and on the city's YouTube channel online. Public access is also available by telephone by using the call-in numbers posted on the meeting agenda. All callers will be muted and may speak to council during the times allotted for public comment as indicated on the agenda. If you are on the phone waiting to speak to council and are also watching the meeting on YouTube or Channel 8, please know there are a couple of seconds of delay with the live stream. Please turn down your computer or TV volume as we approach the sections of the agenda reserved for public invited to be heard, so you can hear the council meeting on the phone and to prevent background noise when you are unmuted to speak. Joanna, will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Leidy.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilford.
Here.
Councilmember Whitkovich.
Here.
Councilmember Jaramillo.
Here.
Councilmember Kondo.
Here.
Councilmember Lukman Haramasa.
Here.
Councilmember Goff.
Here.
Councilmember Brown.
Here.
Councilmember Walker.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, please stand as you are able and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Grab your homework now. Cambria.
Okay. Thank you very much. City Manager Geyer, are there any responses to citizen inquiry?
Nothing this evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you.
Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Nope. Okay. We are going to begin with an interview. We have Megan Burns is here to interview for the Ward 1 member position on the Citizens Affairs Board. Hi, Megan.
Hi, nice to see so many smiling faces. I'm currently on the East Coast visiting family, and so it's so nice to feel like I'm home in Colorado right now, nice. I must say,
Well,
where it's much less humid.
Right. So if you just want to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your interest in serving on the Citizens Affairs Board.
Yeah. Hi. So I'm Megan Burns. I just bought a house back in March in like the little nubbin of Ward 1 down here, between Washington and I-25. I'm loving our house, loving our neighborhood. It's a really great mix of young families like myself and people who've been there since all like the houses were built, which is crazy. We're only the second owners of our home, so that's awesome. I am a geriatric millennial, a mom of one 10.5-month-old boy, and 2 rescue chihuahuas that have lived everywhere with me. I'm originally from the East Coast, where I currently am now, where I grew up outside of Philadelphia. I lived in Boulder for a while, and then also LA and New York, but you can disregard those things, and then Denver, and then finally North Glen. I'm really excited to get involved more with my community. The best thing, I think I remember turning to my husband and when we got the little like welcome packet, whenever we moved in, being like, this is amazing. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And just knowing that I really wanted to get involved and set down roots, because we moved quite a bit before we had kids. And I'm pretty active, I guess. I joined the Rumble up in Westminster, which is fun. And I like running. My son and I go for walks every morning around 7 a.m. around our neighborhood. So if you live around me, you've maybe seen me using the trail right there and like walking around. That's about it.
Excellent. Well, we have a couple questions from council. So I will start with Councilmember Kondo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and Megan, welcome. I lived in Conshohocken. I don't know if that's near where you are, for about and I worked for Globus Medical. I have a few questions in your application. I hope you don't mind. I'm curious, CDP, what kind of company is that?
So that stands for the Colorado Democratic Party. Okay,
got it. Really, I'm still learning acronyms here. I know that you answered the question in regards to familiar with the master plan. I was just kind of curious, have you had the opportunity to dig into our city's 5-year strategic plan? Perhaps maybe that's what the reference is here in this question. And do you have any particular thoughts about that or anything that is a hot button topic that you'd like to kind of pursue in your early days here?
Yeah, I was just digging into sort of that very long PDF on my laptop. I was just really interested in sort of what's going on from like a city planning perspective and sort of like what's the future, mostly because I opened it up when they started doing road work on 104th right there, which is excellent. But yeah, there was nothing in particular that really like jumped out at me at the moment. I would love some more time to dig into that as well.
Thank you. Councilmember Brown.
As long as the brat stays quiet, we're ready to go. Hi, Megan. Thanks a lot for applying for this position. You know, filling a role in CAB has always been hard because of the nature of the board. Are they a board? I don't know if they are or not. So it is really hard to fill those roles. So I definitely appreciate you applying for it. Can you tell me, I know you've been through a couple of interviews. Can you tell me what is drawing you to this and what your understanding is of this board?
Yeah, I think it's just like the acting of the bridge between the community and the city council. You know, understanding politics as I have come to more recently, getting things done on a local level is actually what matters to a lot of people. And that's where you can see and impact the most change. And so I don't know if everyone realizes that. It's interesting. I was just having a conversation with my family, like asking them about like who their mayor was, or like, do they have a city council, and they couldn't answer that for me. So I think like, getting and helping to bridge that gap between the community, and like helping my community, at least in Ward 1, feel empowered to come to these meetings, ask questions, understand what the council can do for them, is really important to me.
I just want to clarify that CAB really only works with one of their main responsibilities is working with disgruntled residents, right? Who don't get along really well. That's the bridge that you fill.
Yeah.
That's an interesting group. I actually live by listening to the meetings. So when it comes to anger resolution, is Heather on the call? Because she should be laughing at me. And those kind of things. Do you have much experience in that?
Oh yes. I don't know if you have are involved in social media at all, but I actually cut my teeth in back in the day being a community manager. So that's basically responding to every angry person who's hiding behind a keyboard. I think it's a service job. I think it's great experience. And it taught me a lot about a person and who I am as a person, and just how to, really mitigate situations, get to the core of what's really bothering people and addressing that issue, because a lot of times things will bubble up and people will say things, but that's not actually the problem that they're having. And so how do we get to the core of what is actually going on, and how do we address and fix that problem, which then usually, domino effects into even more ideas, more brainstorming, and more involvement.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. I think you'll enjoy it. They're really looking at expanding things that they can do for the city, So I wish you luck. Thank you again for applying.
Thank you. Yeah.
Councilmember Witkovich.
Thank you, Mayor. Hi, Megan. No questions from me. I just wanted to thank you for applying. I don't know if you're aware, but this vacancy for Ward 1 has existed for quite some time, I think years. So we're really grateful that you're volunteering your time to take on this role. And I'm sure you know, but myself and Councilmember Walker are your Ward 1 representatives. So we're happy to have you in Ward 1. Welcome. And please feel free to reach out at any time. Thanks again.
Thank you. Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wolford.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Megan, thank you so much for applying and for joining us for your visiting family on the East Coast. My colleagues beat me to the punch and asked the same questions that I had to ask, so you're off the hook for any of my questions. I just wanted to say thank you for stepping up and applying and getting involved right now when you're new to the community. I think that's such an important time to start getting involved and build up the folks around you. And also just a huge thank you, from another geriatric millennial, because, it's great to have, the voices of younger generations included in our boards and commissions. So thanks for taking on the challenge, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Megan. There are no more questions for you. I just want to welcome you and wish you the best of luck.
Awesome. Thank you everyone so much, and great pronunciation on Conshohocken. So thank you.
There you go.
Thanks. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye. Okay, moving into presentations. We have our Youth Commission quarterly update. Amanda Peterson, our Director of Parks, Recreation, and Culture, is here. Hello, Amanda.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to take a moment to introduce Cassie Riggle and Nazli Sufiani, who I think are turning on their camera right now. Cassie is our new recreation coordinator for youth and teen programs, and will be taking on the staff liaison role with our youth commission. So I just wanted to take a minute to let you all say hi to her as she turns things over to Nazli to provide you with your quarterly report. So thank you, and I'll turn it over to Cassie.
I am Cassie. I'm really excited to be working with the Youth Commission and our teen programs, and I'll turn it over to Nazli Sufiani.
Hi, everyone. My name's Nazli, and I'm currently the Secretary of Youth Commission. It's my second year this time around, so I have more experience under my belt. I'm excited to be returning from our summer break. Per our bylaws, we as a Youth Commission made the decision to not hold meetings this summer, but still participate in volunteer events. So we did a few of those over the course of the summer. The first item we have is board membership and recruiting. We have a new member that's joined us, Alex, who we're very excited to welcome, as well as Breezy, who's been joining in on meetings and is not an official member yet, but we hope to make that happen soon. We also plan on doing much more recruiting during this fall season. The Healthy Beverages Initiative is next. Our members, Elizabeth and Isaiah, have been attending Tri-County Health Department's Healthy Beverages meeting in promotion of more healthy beverages in restaurants. And they have been continuing these meetings throughout the summer. Isaiah and Elizabeth have also recently done a presentation at the day camp to the day camp kids and handed out pamphlets on the promotion of healthy beverages in our community. One of our priority projects this year was addressing homelessness. As of May, we met with Jessica Hulse from Crew as well as Ashley from Access Housing. They both recommended reaching out to different organizations who can tell us the needs of the community regarding youth when talking about homelessness. And our member Elizabeth reached out to Access Home, Access Housing, as well as Family Tree. Overall, the feedback was that there is a large need for school supplies. In October, we're hoping to follow up with this and host our own school supply drive. The next priority project this year we focused on was DICE and the power imbalance that we see within the youth in our community. We set up a teen zone in collaboration with Youth Scene at the Adams County Pride event. Our member Elizabeth volunteered at that event and had some meaningful conversations with the youth that showed up. And then we also have had many different volunteer opportunities, such as the AAPI booth in collaboration with the DICE board at the Food Truck Carnival, which we were able to volunteer at, specifically our members, Alex and Isaiah. We hope to continue working on this priority project by hosting more listening sessions, such as the one that we hosted about over a year ago. We learned a lot from the people who joined that meeting, and we were able to kind of specifically see what teens in our community experience at school or just within the community when it comes to talking about these hard subjects. And then this inspired us to also try to work in collaboration to host another youth meeting, this one being more informal. We've talked with the North Glen Chief of Police to maybe have an informal youth listening session about how we can improve the outlook on, or kind of get information from youth about what their outlook on the North Glen Police Department is. And then we've also been able to do a few fun things like our flower bed upkeep, where myself and our member Elizabeth were able to plant flowers at EB Rains. And then lastly, we have our website update. Last year, one of our priority projects was to make a mental health webpage, as well as update our current website to be a little bit more professional since it was outdated. We were able to add our contact information for our youth committee members, as well as our pictures on there as well, so that we have easier ways for people to contact us. And then our resources on the mental health webpage have also been updated, and we're really happy with the result of that priority project from last year. So that's a little bit about what we've been doing, as well as what we're going to do this following year. So I'm excited to share the next report with you all as well.
Well done. Well done. A couple hands are up. Councilmember Goff.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to thank all. I want to ask you to make sure that you thank all of your youth council members, because we do appreciate the work you do, the energy and the knowledge that you people bring as very helpful. I enjoyed the time I spent at the Food Truck Carnival by the AAPI stage, working with you and your compatriots. And I was at the Adams County Pride Fest. You know, the diversity board had our own tables, so I didn't get to see you there, but very much appreciate all the work you do. And thank you very much for this wonderful report.
Thank you so much.
Councilmember Jaramillo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say great work, Nosley. You're doing a great job. You should be very proud. You mentioned about homelessness and also dealing with mental health. I have a colleague. I'm also an employee for the city of Thornton. So I'd advise you to also reach out to our neighbors there. One of the contacts you can have, her name is Jalen Stotler. She's with the Community Connections Center there in Old Thornton. And I can give you her number real quick. It's 720-977-5800. And I'd appreciate, I think you'd also have some great connections there too. They have a food bank as well. So just if you can help, make those connections too. I think what's really great about young people, they're doing a good job working together, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. We'll be sure to reach out.
Okay.
Councilmember Kondo.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. And I'd like to dovetail on to Jay's comment. Actually, this is from the Northland Thornton Sentinel, and it talks about the amount of homeless people here in North Metro increasing to about 4,500 people, up 6% from last year. What's really shocking to me is also, I think this is widely known in public circles, about 10% of homeless people are youth. So if it's 4,500 people, that means there's 450 young people out there that are experiencing some hardships of not having a home. So I really want to, first of all, applaud the fact that you are focusing on that as one of your platform issues. So thank you for doing that. And certainly, as somebody who is new to this area on the council, I'm definitely interested in the young folks. And hopefully I will see some of you as I go about doing what is going to be called a walk along with our school resource officers. So at some point or another, I hope to see you out there as I get to learn more about the city and meet more people. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, some of the statistics that we heard during our conversation with Jessica from Crew were really shocking, especially about youth. So we're definitely trying to fix that area, I guess, or at least work on it as best we can.
Thank you. Councilmember Luthman-Hiramasa.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Hi, Nosley. First of all, I just want to say what a fantastic job you did. Everyone on the Youth Commission is doing such an amazing job. Your dedication, the guest speakers you're having in, I just want to say keep up the good work. It was really cool to see all the volunteer work that you guys continue to do during the summer. I didn't get to see any of you during the summer, but I look forward to our next meeting coming up in September. And the work that you are doing with youth and homelessness is extremely important. So thank you for doing that. I just wanted to say great job. And then I wanted to say congratulations to Cassie in her new role as the recreation coordinator and as the liaison. So look forward to working more with you in the Youth Commission. Nosley, great job.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you at our new meeting.
Yay. Well, I will just wrap up. I think your presentation was very thorough. You have definitely been doing a lot of work, and we really appreciate it. So thank you so much, and thanks for spending some time with us this evening.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Have a nice night. All right, moving into public invited to be heard. This is an opportunity for public comment on any item not set for public hearing. Statements are limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Statements must be related to city business and limited to matters of community interest. Is there anyone on the phone who would like to speak to council? You may press *6 to unmute yourself at this time.
I do. Yes, please.
Okay, please state your name and address and provide your comments to council.
Oh, is that me? I heard two people say something at the same time. I'm not sure which one. I'm Chris Klein, but someone else spoke before I did.
All right, Chris, jump on in there.
Okay, I appreciate it. So thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. My name is Chris Klein. I live at 248 Emory Road here in Northland. I'd just like to address the new community cat ordinance draft. I feel that I can provide a fair perspective on this with my experience doing TNR, returning SNR cats, and volunteering at a cat rescue for many years. The animal shelters are always busy with the cat. Sorry, my cat just knocked something over. And we continue to spin our wheels doing the same thing, catch and remove cats, many of which get euthanized, and it does nothing to help control cat population. I run into a handful of situations here in Adams County where hobbyist cat trappers constantly have their traps set, catch any roaming community cat that comes by. I see it doing TNR, my SNR, and then I also see it on the Nextdoor app. And it's just about removing cats with no regard for their fate or who may be caring for them. There's way too much research out there now proving how beneficial the TNR concept is to stabilize cat population. I fully support having the TNR concept here for Northland. I have been pushing for this for a long time, and I do support the definitions in the ordinance. I support the section 14417 trap, spay, neuter program. I would call it permitted acts instead, but I do think it's great, everything in there. This revised ordinance appears to be the same ordinance they'll roll back out on the July 11th, with the only addition added to that section 1433, impounding of animals, where it states except that any community cat may be impounded in response to a complaint verified by an animal control officer related to damage or any other activity of the community cat that impacts the comfortable enjoyment of an individual's property. Now, this statement would allow anyone to say anything about any cat and promote its removal. Community cats are free roaming, so the statement's harmful. Our ordinance currently doesn't even have cats mentioned in that section. Why do we, need to add cats and community cats to this? Now, section 1432, impounding of cats, the current ordinance only has cats in there as well, and now it includes the community cats running at large. It just decreases the value of the TNR concepts that we're trying to promote and accept, I feel. The ordinance, how it's written, does not appear to really support the concept, the SNR concept. It pretty much promotes trapping and impounding cats. Research shows removing cats does not work. It's, the vacuum effect. The TNR concept is about accepting community cats, knowing that after they are fixed and vaccinated and ear tipped and returned, that the nuisance issues will greatly decrease and it will stabilize population over time. There are way too many grayers as well, I feel, just with a cat considered owned or unowned, and penalized for being at large. One of the most common ways people, adopt cats is just adopting a stray or a community cat from their own yards. Now, they may not be the most social and sometimes hard to keep inside at first or for a while. At times, cats have litter box issues. People need to let them out sometimes rather than having them euthanized. And I just don't feel these people should be punished for an at-large ordinance. Our shelters they're too packed to worry about this, especially all that we know about TNR and the humane methods to keep them away. These are just some of the reasons why the at-large ordinance, I feel, needs to be removed for owned and unowned cats. At-large ordinances, I feel, they disparage the TNR concept. I recommend just simply saying cats are considered free-roaming animals. Back to section 1432, real quick, B and C, impounding of cats. And I don't mean to be negative on it or anything. It just doesn't really make sense. It's not realistic that the way it's worded. There are no specific caregivers where an ACO an animal control officer would randomly turn a cat over for entrance into a TNR program. Caregivers practice TNR on their own accord and do not take random cats from animal control officers to deal with on their own. And you do not want to relocate a community cat to someone in another location. And if an animal control officer has a feral community cat in their position, don't let it out. You want to keep it in the trap or you're not going to catch it again. The ACO will take it to Riverdale, have it SNR'd, and that's why we're doing what we're doing with the SNR concept. So, if they take in any unadoptable cats from ACOs or the public, they can return them back to the exact same location so they don't have to euthanize them. and I'm almost done here. If an ACO sees an ear tip cat, let it back out unless it's injured. It means it's already been TNR'd. Someone in the area is caring for them, so there's no need to take it to a shelter. Back in 2015, success story, I first contacted the city about TNR. I just got done TNR in 24 community cats and rescued 3 litters of kittens over the previous year for an elderly couple on the street over from mine here in Northland. 8 years later, we have not seen a single kitten. It's been a huge success. I only see healthy adopt ear tip cats. I know of at least 5 people caring for them here, feeding the cats in the neighborhood they've spread out over time. You never see them. They stick around their house, their yards. I educate my neighbors on this, what ear tip means, so it'll help prevent others from trying to kill them or remove them. Education is huge on this, and that's what we need from the city. If just one person started trapping and removing these cats, it would be a huge disappointment, and it would remove all the hard work we accomplished. So the way the revised ordinance is written, it just encourages those type of people, or those few people, I should say, to remove cats, and rather than trying to support the SNR concept. I just feel we need to revise the ordinance so it's more TNR friendly, and basically it's by removing the at-large part of it, at-large ordinance. Thank you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Chris. Thanks for being here. Okay, is there anyone else on the phone?
Oh yeah, there's me. Can I do it?
Yes, state your name and address and provide your comments to council.
All right, well, thank you, City Council of Northland, Glenham, Myanmar, North Lagoon. I'm Mark Bromley, lifelong resident, local artist here in Ward 3. I do not like Democrats trying to tell me to move from my hometown or threaten me. Local artists, authors that create a product here in Northland shouldn't be stalked, harassed, or attacked by Democrats on council or by their hate agendas. I want to know if it's not right for council and management to get greedy in times of artificial inflation by legislation. We do not need 6-figure salaries for redundant bureaucracy, and unneeded desk jockeys who perform no real function do not mooch from the taxpayers, North and Glenham. Also, I want to talk about to learn the truth about diversity, about the shim sham scam the Democrats and Confederates on city council are actually pulling. I noticed in recent meetings several attacks by council on religion, mostly persecution of Christianity. I find this appalling by council. Religion is free to approach the government. However, government has no place in overreaching its position in persecuting religion in our community, for God is above government. And these incidents that I'm talking about are the fire watches that were being installed in churches, then striking Noel from our Christmas events, and then also talking about removing Christian-related Christmas songs from public schools. That seemed a little bit like persecution. And the third one, trying to get your hands on homeschooled church-based preschool programs. That looked like government overreach. So I do hope that the city council stops attacking Christianity. When we meet in person again, I would like to bring the Quran of Islam and recite a passage for you to point out some of the persecution examples that actually are in the Islamic Quran. And that's where a lot of persecution of Christians comes from. And I got my Quran in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, and religions are a hobby of mine, so I study this on a regular basis. I just want to see Northland to stop the religious persecution in our city. And that's basically all I have for you tonight. This is my first time talking to you guys on the phone. I'd rather do it in person because I think we should actually have more public meetings instead of always having to resort to phone calls, hidden meetings because of some paranoia that happens on the city council over muzzles, face muzzles, dust masks. I don't see a lot of drywalling going on over at the city hall, so I don't know why we can't have meetings. Anyways, thanks for having me, and you have a nice evening, city council.
Okay, is there anyone else on the phone who would like to speak to council tonight? Okay, hearing none, we will move into communications. I'll start with Ward 1. Councilmember Walker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have no updates tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Witkovich.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have several things to mention this evening, but I will try to go through them pretty quickly. as I usually do. Back on August 9th, I attended the Adams County Commissioners public meeting and was honored to accept the 2 grants that we were awarded through the open space grant money. And so we got, and maybe you saw it on Facebook, but we got $20,000 for the Rotary Park Pavilion, and we accepted $1 million for the Kiwanis pool renovation. So that was really cool. I got to attend with Amanda and Justin and Jesse, and that was a great meeting. On August 11th, I attended the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting. Let's see, they did approve the budget, which was everything that you guys heard last Monday. They also approved a user fee schedule changes. So I believe those will be coming to council for final approval. But that will be all the fees for 2023. On August 17th, I attended the Vail board meeting. We did our typical quarterly reimbursement approvals. Those all went well. I also gave them a quick update that on September 12th, we'll be talking about the residency requirement that they asked me to bring forward. So they're looking forward to seeing the results of that. On August 19th, I attended the Dancing Through the Decades event. I was volunteering with the Historic Preservation Foundation. We were IDing, wristbanding, and selling tokens for mixed drinks. And it was a very well attended event. And I think everybody really enjoyed it. It was great seeing all the people who were dressed up in different decade attire, but it was a lot of fun. And I think people really liked it. I think it was a better turnout than anybody expected. The line for drinks was always super long. And so if we do this again, I'm pretty sure we'll be having a second stand, or at least some more folks pouring drinks. On last Saturday, August 20th, I attended the Shredathon that was held up at Northland Marketplace as a volunteer for CPAN. I was helping to direct traffic, but that was a great event. Thank you to all the CPAN volunteers and everybody at the police department. I think our community really, really appreciates that event. I know I do. I got rid of some stuff too. So that was a great time. Last thing I wanted to mention, and I could have put this in an email to Heather, but I just wanted to put it out there. I think everybody, well, maybe some folks know about the traffic calming that we have going on off of Marion over here in Ward 1 between Leroy and 104th. It's pretty contentious. People aren't too happy about what's going on over there. And we've tried some different things. And I believe that the street captain and those folks who petitioned to have that survey done and all of the improvements, I believe that they're being contacted to determine what the final traffic calming measures will be. And so I just had a request from a resident that maybe something be sent out to residents who likely use that road a lot. It's a main thoroughfare, so I think that's why this one has been a little bit more contentious versus, some of the other smaller streets. But, Marion, people use it a lot. And so the request from the resident was just that something maybe be mailed out to folks so they know what the traffic calming measures are, how they should be using them, what the hope is that they'll accomplish. So I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that, and I had not gotten an email off. So I am passing those comments along now. And that is all I have this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Brown.
Oh, I'm so excited. Actually, I attended the NURA meeting. Always one of my favorite groups, you know that. Lots of exciting things coming on with 112th and Irma and 112th and Washington. I can't wait for those buildings to be demolished because it looks like our taggers are starting to hit it, but we're getting it cleaned up really quickly. Thank you, Heather, for that. We talked about Washington Point and some of the improvements that the owners have decided that they will do to the parking lot. It's a long, convoluted story. But there are several owners up there, much like we ran into at Huron Plaza. Is that what it was, Heather? Before we moved everything around, or before it got, I don't know, it got sold, we rebuilt it. Huron Plaza, is that what it is where Save-A-Lot is?
Yes, the city assembled land over there. So there's multiple property owners at Washington Point, and so the opportunity exists for Debbie to help facilitate collaboration amongst all the property owners.
Right. And then, Debbie Tuttle, the fabulous Debbie Tuttle, is handling conversations with the business owners over there regarding the homeless situation and what we can do to help and where we can go with that. And I want to thank Debbie Tuttle for all of her hard work on that, because I know it's a very touchy subject, obviously, by previous conversations. We approved 2 big grants and a BUAG. Other than that, it was just a wonderful time visiting people who love our city as much as I do.
Councilmember Jaramillo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I attended the NAHF Northglenn Arts and Humanities Foundation artist selection committee, and proud to say that we'll have Jody Bliss. She is a Colorado sculptor, and she will be creating the new art for our new city hall. And next is design committee for that committee, and very happy to have her.
Thank you. Councilmember Kondo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I know that in executive session, we talked a lot about some of the things that are going around the city's civic complex, and I spent about 2 hours on Sunday in military parlance. We call it walking the battle space, and that was just walking around the entire E.B. Raines Jr. Park, the tunnel, going over the Safeway, counting shopping carts and things of that nature, and certainly walking through some of the contested neighborhoods just east there of the park. So I found it to be very informative. And if anything, I'm happy to report that the goose poop problem seems to be resolved with the new flashing lights that are designed to kind of discourage the geese from hanging around the E.B. Raines Lake. It appears to be working. So that's the good news. And of course, the other piece, of course, is just making sure that I get eyes on target to understand some of the bigger, deeper issues. More importantly, in follow-up to the Northglenn Police Department principals meeting that took place on August 4th, I did attend the North Metro Fire Rescue District Board meeting on the 16th. And one of the things that I wanted to confirm and share on board. The only other piece, but certainly members to various informational meetings that I've been setting up has been very instructive, very helpful. And I hope to invite other council members who are so inclined and interested.
Thank you. Councilmember Goff.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple things. I did participate in the Adams County Development Group, I think. We heard from, City Commissioner Doricio. We heard from, we heard from Debbie Tuttle. I just have to say the fabulous Debbie Tuttle, as Councilmember Brown referred to her, did present on all the success that we've recently had in Northglenn with our redevelopment at the Civic Center that's going to be going on, and at the marketplace. So she said some amazing things about our wonderful city, and I just want to say, I can't say enough amazing things about her. So that was a wonderful experience. And then also on August 18th, as a member of the CC4CA, a group of us met with Representative Gonzalez Gutierrez, who is not in our district or anything, but she is somebody who is interested in some of the same issues of air quality and environmental safety and environmental justice. So we had a nice little talk with her, just kind of thinking about out loud together about what we might be doing in the upcoming legislative session. And that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Luqman Hiramasa.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Let's see, I don't have a whole lot. As Rich mentioned, as Councilmember Kondo mentioned, we did have a tabletop exercise with Chief and Deputy Chief last Friday, which was very informative. And also had a meeting with a resident on Cuivas Street about some concerns and code enforcement issues. And I want to say thank you to staff for very, very prompt responses and assessment of the situation and the concerns. And then there's a couple of things. We have a Ward 4 meeting coming up on Thursday. So I would just like to remind our residents, it is I'm going to say it slowly because it's hard to say fast, Groove, Grub, and Local Gov this Thursday at Danahay Park at 5:30. So you'll get a chance to speak with Mayor Pro Tem and myself from 5:30 to 6. And there'll be music and food trucks. And graciously, North Metro Fire Rescue Department has also agreed to show up. So I'll be a little bit jealous if they don't bring their ladder like they did at the other meeting. For helping facilitate that as well. And that is all I have right now. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Wolford.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you. So I had a couple of things. I did have another one of my Mile High Flood District meetings. Nothing North Glen specific this time, but I did want to call out the reorganization. Mile High Flood District has found a new location, which is exciting, and they have a new executive director. And it's just a really awesome organization to be on the board of. I was also part of the art selection committee with 2 council member colleagues, and that was a wonderful experience. And I just wanted to thank all of the other in all member condo. All schools will have Narcan. Just that was a grant, and so that was something that was mentioned at that school meeting. So that is an additional piece. And then just speaking of schools, I just wanted to, it's also probably the most joyous. Everyone is so excited to be back. But thank you also, not only to our school district and all of the teachers and all of the staff members that support schools, but also to our police department, because I know they had additional patrols around schools. They are very community oriented, and they were in buildings, meeting with kids, talking to families, and re-engaging those school communities. And I just wanted to let them know I appreciate that. All I have. Let's see, City Clerk Small, do you have anything?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I do not have any updates tonight.
Okay. City Manager Geyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple updates for council's benefit as well as the public. This Wednesday evening from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the North Glen Recreation Center, planning staff is hosting one of our comprehensive plan meetings looking up a vision for North Glen's future. The topics that are going to be covered at this meeting include land use, water resources, transportation, community health, and public safety. And you have an opportunity to win a $25 gift card if you attend. And I know it was mentioned and kudos given about the document shred event on Saturday. Just wanted to share a couple stats with council and the community. We had approximately 1,200 cars go through the event. Crime Stoppers, the initial total is that they raised about $11,000. Of the largest Iron Mountain shred trucks filled completely by 11:30 a.m. So overall, it was a very successful event. That's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. City Attorney Hoffman.
We will be provide.
Councilmember Brown, I just noticed your hand. Did you have something more to add?
I had a couple things to add, and I apologize. First of all, I just want to share, I forgot. I don't know how I forgot because I'm really excited. Yeah. And I'm really excited to be forcing me for the role. Back that see care Never know. I'll give them away to people I obviously know are addicts up there by Safeway. I just want to make sure that our addicts are protected.
That's what I was going to mention, but thank you, Councilmember Brown, for remembering to say that. I was going to say the same thing. So looking forward to seeing all our neighbors in Ward 2 at Malley Drive Elementary. Thank you.
Great, thanks. All right, we are now moving into the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you, Joanna. Please call the vote.
Mayor Leidy,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilford,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitkovich,
Yes.
Councilmember Jaramillo,
Yes.
Councilmember Kondo,
Yes.
Councilmember Lukman Haramasa,
Yes.
Councilmember Goff,
Yes.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Walker.
Yes.
The consent agenda passes unanimously.
Thank you. Our first ordinance, it's an ordinance on first reading, CB 1989. Joanna, will you read the title, please?
A bill for an ordinance amending Chapter 14 of the North Glen Municipal Code regarding animal control and specifically addressing issues surrounding feral cats and outdoor cats.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, Police Chief Jim May.
Mayor, Council, good evening. Actually, I'm going to turn it over to Randy since he did a lot of work on this ordinance. However, I do want to just say that if you guys have questions or concerns after Randy gives his presentation, I'm more than willing to give my perspective on why we need to adopt it in its current form. So with that, Deputy Chief Darling.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. We've been moving forward on the TNR and the SNR program for several months now. Chris Klein, who you heard from earlier, kind of brought it to the attention of the city manager, and we've been moving in the direction of supporting this ordinance to provide the opportunity for our community to utilize TNR and SNR type services, to provide the most humane methods for cats within us that were feral specifically, right? Not Chris Klein is really a TNR SNR process, right? It's the community as well as less the community members have complained about. So we're here to support that and potentially cause damage to individuals' property or in the comfortable enjoyment of their property. We do feel that that piece is an imperative part of what we're trying to do with property. And this provides protection on that realm as well as providing kind of that soft hand approach to community cats in general. So I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Councilmember Kondo.
Madam Mayor, so I only have two questions. One regarding section 4-3-3. I'm sorry, correction. Section 4-3-8. Again, the community cat caregiver is not liable. It's just strictly owners of cats. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then I heard Mr. Klein's comment earlier this evening. So in regards to paragraph B at the very top of page 6, that would be specifically 14-3-2, subparagraph B. I believe I heard, and maybe I may have misheard, but I thought he said it doesn't make sense for an animal control officer to turn a cat over to a community cat caregiver. And I just wanted to make sure I heard that correctly. I mean, if an ACO, if an animal control officer did seize a cat, I mean, wouldn't they take them to Riverdale straight away as opposed to a community cat caregiver?
Well, under the prior ordinance, there was no authorization for our animal control officers to turn a cat over to a community caregiver. Was not part of the ordinance prior. This provides that opportunity for our ACOs to do that process to a cat
Jaramillo.
Be penalized for a cat. You're being responsible for, caring for a cat with for cats, releasing them out into the public, and or that one. And then second, if we have the ordinance without that piece in it, let's say we have a community cat that is now spayed, neutered, and vaccinated, and is now out in the community living in its colony, that is continuously causing damage to someone's property and or their comfortable enjoyment of their property. They're not able to enjoy their land the way they want to enjoy it because the cat is causing some type of a disturbance or destruction. We really wouldn't have a means or a remedy for that community member, because under the process, we would have with no ability to really remedy that situation for that particular resident. And that's really the purpose of that piece of the ordinance specifically.
Would you say really it boils down to what's the difference between a caregiver?
So that is some of the harm we're seeking to prevent by still having cats at large be a potential charge. This ordinance, as originally drafted, applies to them to be relocated elsewhere. Certainly, there a cat being damaging one's property. And I hope I answered all the questions.
That clarified it. Thank you.
Okay.
Councilmember Goff.
Thank you, Mayor. So I guess the question, I have a question and then a comment afterward.
I think cats will come onto their property and they're a hard animal to fence out, right? So